Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and today on Latakin's Noor Kitchen we're gonna make Maqluba, Maqluba or Maqluba. Yes, that's true, and no matter how you say that, this Middle Eastern dish is easy to make, relatively fast, and devastatingly delicious, in particular when you're gonna use it with beef meat. Some people make it with chicken, but no matter what kind of meat you're gonna use or what kind of vegetables you're gonna include, there is one thing true about it, which is a layered dish of rice, vegetables, and meat. So the unique thing about this dish is once it's cooked, you need to flip it upside down. And the idea of layering the vegetables and meat underneath the rice allows all the flavors to melt into each other. So with that, let's go ahead and get started. Prepping this is extremely easy. All we need to do is peel in a couple pounds of eggplants like that. We're gonna slice them up into big pieces because we need to fry them. And what I'm gonna do next is I'm gonna take 2 pieces of eggplants, small pieces, to use them in a chicken broth, which is gonna make it extra tasty, of course. So let's go ahead and dice that into small pieces like cubes. So what we have to do here is first peeling them and then cutting them into small pieces like cubes. And that's it. Next is seasoning the eggplants with salt. That will draw out the excess moisture, so the eggplant will have a stronger flavor and a softer texture, because less water means more flavor. So what I like to do is pull that eggplant out of the water through laying it on a strainer and let it drain for at least half an hour. Now we will head out to peel 2 medium-sized potatoes, then slice them in round slices about, well, a little more than a 1/4 inch, a little less than a 1/2 inch. And after they are sliced, I'm gonna go ahead and add that to the bottom of a heavy pot. You can also add some tomato or any vegetables of your prefer. So with that, we're gonna line up the bottom with vegetables because that will buffer the dish from burning. And by the way, we don't throw that away. We don't throw that potato. They're super delicious when they are thick and caramelized. That is done. We're gonna go ahead and on a medium heat, we're gonna add 4 cups and a half of hot water, to which I'm gonna add 2 stocks cubes or bouillon cubes, whether they are chicken or beef, but I prefer the chicken one. Mix that with a hand mixer until it's melted, to which we're gonna add then the eggplants cubes that we cut together, and we're gonna let that cook for half an hour. Here I had a beef stick, which I cut into small pieces. You can go ahead and cut these any size and shape you want. I mean, you are after all the wise guys of your tip size. And it really doesn't matter as long as they fairly uniform so that they cook evenly. At which point we can head to the stove. We're gonna heat some vegetable oil in a skillet set over high heat, and once that starts to simmer and we think it's hot, we go ahead and transfer our meat, and crowding the meat at this point is not going to be a major problem. And then what we'll do once we had that placed in and as close to a single layer as we can get is let that sear on high heat for about 3 or 4 or 5 minutes, or until we start getting some nice browning on the surface. At that point we go ahead and turn those over, but of course we're gonna add some salt, a pinch of black pepper as well, and then you're gonna notice a good amount of moisture accumulating in the bottom of the pan, and these beef tips are gonna start to simmer in their own juices. Give that an occasional stir and toss, and once the water is evaporated, we're gonna lower the heat to medium. First we made it wet, then we made it dry, and now after our meat is cooked for about half an hour, we're gonna make it wet again by transferring in 1/4 cup of water, then cover it and let it simmer gently for about another half an hour. Now let's go ahead and see what happened with the eggplants. Yes, that's true. They released their water and they are ready now. So let's deep fry them in a very hot vegetable oil until they burnt looking but just very dark. So guys, as you could tell, our eggplants are almost ready. Our aubergines kind of like golden brown on both sides. They will be done when it's soft on each end. Here I took away the eggplant cubes from the water. We don't need that anymore because we needed only their flavor. And now let's add 2 teaspoons of salt, give it a good stir, and let's go ahead to build our dish. So once the base is evenly covered with potato, we're gonna add the second layer, which is the beef meat. Next up is eggplants. I'm gonna stack them one by one on the circumference of the pot until it's all covered. Add some in a base too. Then is the rice. Here I have 3 cups of short grain rice, which I washed with water, but you really don't have to soak them in water. Washing is enough, I think. I prefer to use short rice grain in this recipe because this kind of rice tend to stick together once cooked, and that's what we really need since we want to make it as a cake in a mold. We don't want a long grain rice because it will not be firm and will fall off. Anyway, you can use anything you want and it's totally up to you. Then another layer of eggplants, and last but definitely not least, the rest of our rice. And that's it. Now let's go ahead to add the chicken stock that we made. We're gonna add 4 cups and a half, all of the water that we prepared because I bought 3 cups of rice. Then on a low heat stove, let that cook for nearly 1 hour. Let that cook low and slow to give time for the flavors to develop. And now once that is cooked, the last step is adding 2 to 3 tablespoons of butter. Cover that, let it melt and rest for 15 minutes before serving to hold its shape so everything can settle into place. Next, place a serving plate on top of the pot, then turn it upside down or flip it over quickly. And now let it sit for another 10 minutes before you take the pot up. Then slowly lift the pot up to see your stunning maqluba. I'm gonna garnish with some toasted nuts and it's done. What an unbelievably fantastic looking dish. We're gonna serve it with yogurt or ayran. And then once garnished, I grabbed a spoon and it's time to taste. First, there's a stray piece. Actually, let me use a fork here so I can at least pretend to be civilized. Oh yeah, that's good. But anyway, forget the fork. Let's get in here and do this probably. What we're really supposed to be doing here is taking a spoonful of maqluba with a sip of ayran, which is nothing but a yogurt with a little bit of cold water, a pinch of salt, and a clove of garlic. It's amazing how all of the flavors are absorbed into the grain as it's cooked, and it really does a tremendous difference. I can't imagine this tasting any better. So that was looking perfect, tasting amazing, and beyond description, and it is without a doubt one of my favorite all-time things to eat. But anyway, that's it. What I'm calling maqluba is done, which I really do hope you give this a try soon. Thanks for watching. It's a restaurant quality recipe where you can easily make at home. And if you liked my video, please make sure to subscribe, like, follow and share so you can help me get more people to reach Latakians in our kitchen. See you later!